It's not a bad looking morning, looking over Thames. London Bridge over there. Tower Bridge just over there, if you can see it. If you can hear that, there's an alarm going off. Bit annoying. Good timing. Hopefully that won't be annoying on the video. Right, let's talk about a couple of things, which is we've had from update from EXWHUEMPLOYEE yesterday, did the podcast with him, and a couple of items came up, and it was regarding player exits. I want to talk about two main players here. Firstly, Lucas Paqueta. So there's a real growing confidence now that he's going to be found innocent in this betting allegation situation that he's obviously got going on with the FA. As far as we understand it, the verdict's now been pushed back to June, early June, because basically the defence that was put forward by Paqueta's team contained just so much information in terms of evidence, and they need to go through it, they need to review it. There's a real, from what we understand it, what they presented was very strong. There's a lot of video evidence they presented in terms of yellow cards that he's picked up previously throughout his career, and the sort of, I think, demonstrating the kind of the nature of him as a footballer. And there was obviously a lot more supporting evidence in things of like having David Moyes come forward and say, look, he didn't even want to play against Bournemouth, which is one of the yellow cards that's in question in the trial. So there's a real growing sense at West Ham at the moment that he is going to be found innocent. Now, as I say, we don't know for certain. That's just more, that's the feeling. We don't know, do we, until the verdict's read out. But what it does mean is that, annoying alarm again. What it does mean is, let's just go with the assumption that he's going to be found innocent. It's highly likely he's going to be departing West Ham this summer. I understand it. I understand it from his perspective as well. Fresh start. I mean, it's been a torrid couple of years for him on so many levels. You know, performance-wise, he hasn't been obviously at his best. I know that recently he's certainly picking up. He's certainly improving, I feel like, under Graham Potter. But that aside, he's had a lot going on. This has been a very stressful time for him and his family, no doubt. And he'll be feeling, look, you know, he could have had his move to Man City a couple of years ago. It didn't happen because of all of this. I'm sure that he'll be wanting to go, look, I've given a couple of extra years to West Ham. I want to now move on and draw a line under it. So what it does mean is that it's likely to see West Ham sell Lucas Paqueta on top of obviously the players that we know about already that are likely to go. Mohamed Kudus being the sort of top player. You imagine the club are going to want to cash in on this summer to give us that boost in finances so we can go and undertake this rebuild, which is going to be significant. I mean, it's a big rebuild as it is anyway, with the likes of Kudus, Emerson, Soufal, Fabianski possibly, Mikel Antonio, Tomas Soucek will come to in the middle. I mean, there's so many players that Danny Ings, of course, you've got these fringe players, but other players as well that are going to be leaving. To add Lucas Paqueta to the mix, don't get me wrong, it means we're going to probably bring in a relatively decent fee. I mean, it's not going to be £80 million that we were expecting, but we're not expecting, we're going to get before these allegations were brought up to Man City, that it feels like this is going to be another huge sale for the club and something that we're going to have to deal with. It makes things a little bit nerve-wracking, actually, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm excited for the fact that we need a squad rebuild. I've been saying it for a long time that this team does need ripping up. But it's a big player to lose, isn't it? On top of the fact, if we do lose Kudus and all those other players I mentioned. So, yeah, that's where we are at the minute. But it does look like Man City are going to come back in. So he may well get his move. Obviously, the interesting aspect as well is if he does get found innocent, again, going with that assumption, it obviously opens the door for West Ham then to go and sue the FA, which I think we will certainly go and do because of all the turmoil this has caused, the loss of revenue that we've experienced because of this, and also the fact of the performance of the player. He's been so effective. There's a long way to go, and obviously Paqueta will do his own case, I'm sure, against the FA for what they've done for him, loss of earnings and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on there, but obviously we won't get that verdict now till June, but it is anticipated that Man City are going to come back in for him. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne are off as well, so there's even more ammunition there for them to go and push ahead with this. So, but obviously at the moment we don't know fees, but my guess would be it'd probably be around the 30-40 million. It's not going to be I don't think we're going to get that £80 million anywhere near it now, which is a huge shame for us. But yeah, that's where we are. It's better than where we bloody were, let's be honest with Paqueta, because it was, you know, if he does get found guilty, then it presents a whole world of other problems for us. The other one I'll talk about is Tomas Soucek. So there's a lot of talk at the moment that he will be leaving this summer. Everton are known to be very keen. This is from EXWHUEMPLOYEE yesterday. David Moyes is really, really keen in him. In fact, I think he's considered like his top transfer target this summer. We know the reasons why. We know that he'll go and be a main player for Everton and fit into the David Moyes system, and he'll get them goals. It'll work well. We know it will. So you can understand why. Regarding his West Ham situation, it's understood that he wants to stay. He wants a new deal. I don't think he'll get it. I don't think he's going to fit what Potter wants to be doing. It's quite obvious. I think at the moment you can see that he's not favoured. Not saying that he doesn't play a part at the moment this season. He's still got things to do, of course. But you think long term, and the way that Potter wants West Ham to be playing. Well, look, we've been talking about this as West Ham fans for a while. We want to see a change, so I can understand that. But of course, when you're adding together what I've just been talking about there with hang on. There you go. The old Uber boat. When you add that together with what I've been saying about Kudus and Paqueta and all these other players, to add Soucek to the mix as well, you do think to yourself, Christ, that is a lot of big name players leaving. But I think it will happen. I do think Soucek will probably be off. It feels like this is the way it's going. In fact, he wants a new deal. West Ham aren't going to give it. He's not really featuring much under Potter. And then you've got the likes of Everton coming forward, and also now Leeds United are understood to be really keen, which is understandable. If they get promoted, they want to get that player that's going to, guarantee a few goals for them, of course. So it's understandable. I think West Ham has got to be a bit careful here. Got to be very careful because yes, we want to see a change, and yes, we want to see an overhaul of this squad. But when you're adding players to the mix that you possibly could keep a little bit longer, just to keep that core of the team, because I've said we lack a core of the team, but so I'm a little bit two minds about the Soucek one at the moment. As much as I want to see a shift and a change, it's like I want to make sure we get the replacements right, because you're getting rid of a player that's been a big player for West Ham for quite some time, gets those vital goals. I mean, obviously he's scored a fair few goals for us this season already, so yeah, it's a tricky one. But it does look like Soucek is going to be on his way. I'll be very surprised if he's here next season, and it does look like Everton or Leeds are going to be his preferred destination. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. So we're going to have an updates later on other things that X has brought up on his section. As I say, I did the video on the wall yesterday of where we are with that, so we're going to we'll keep you posted with how things are going with that scenario and whatnot. Yeah, so that's where we are. So yeah, also got a video coming up later tonight regarding Graham Potter and his plea to fans, so look forward to that one. So look, have a good one. I'll catch you later on. Take care. Come on your minds.